I bet you didn't think you'd see P-dubs teabagging first thing this morning. That's right. You went to bed last night. You cuddled up next to your wife. She put her frozen toes on you because you got the air conditioner going so high. And, you woke up and you're like, oh, we got to do another day, another day. Nothing exciting is going to happen today. Nothing exciting. I bet teabagging, P-dubs teabagging you wasn't the first thing you had on your bingo card for this morning, was it, boys? Was it? Oh, yeah. It's a morning. That's right, baby. We are back. Welcome to P-Dub's Arcade Loft, where we always appreciate it when you come and hang out upstairs with us. This is the early morning gaming podcast. That's right. And I've already had a cup of coffee. If I have another cup of coffee with caffeine in it, I'm going to end up shaking and jittering when I start my day job here in about 40 minutes or so. So had to switch to tea. And this is chamomile tea. I guess it's caffeine free. So I'll be sipping on a tea, but grab your coffee and let's hang out for a bit. Maybe if you're commuting in the car, you could put me on audio only because please don't get into an accident. And we could just chat real quick, catch up on the world of gaming. I have a couple things I want to talk about, but pretty much this is going to be a chillaxing type stream. Man, I just can't stop teabagging this thing, man. I'm just going up and down and up and oh, I spilled on my keyboard. That's not the first time that's happened. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can let's go ahead and get your beautiful mugs on the chat display here. Let's see who's here in the live chat. We got J Rod here, Max Velocity, Calvin Wong. James Hates Everything is yelling at me to get to work. I don't start for 40 minutes, buddy. Jeffrey Shaw is here, the Quarter Deck Arcade, Billy Woods Mods, David H.C., Mart the Centertainer. You always have to read that slow, otherwise I'll say it wrong. Stock Jock is here. My boy Rafcon, USMC is here. We don't take shit from anybody, do we, Rafcon? Billy Woods Mods again. Calvin Wong, the real Zim, who cursed me last night playing virtual reality golf. That's right. We played Walkabout Golf VR last night, and I was on fire. Jason Little Alien has won 5 online games in a row, and it was up to somebody to step in and defeat him to break the streak. I mean, this streak is like the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Nobody can touch our favorite moderator, Jason, and Walkabout VR Golf. P-Dubs, who hasn't been playing online a lot lately on VR Golf, hopped in there and rose to the challenge and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat him in Walkabout Golf. And it was at about hole 12, no, hole 13, hole 13. P-Dubs was up 2 shots on Jason Little Alien. The streak was on pace to be broken. Then the real Zim showed up, and I don't think it was the real Zim because it must have been the fake Zim because the minute he showed up, I started sucking. And because of that, I ended up taking second place. Jason Little Alien won again, and he's now won 6 online Walkabout Golf VR games in a row. I took second place. I was going to break the streak and be everybody's hero, especially because last night, I don't know if you guys caught it, make sure you watch That Gaming Show with Rascal and Shotgun Sean on Tuesday nights on YouTube. They were doing a Mario Kart World online community play. I hopped in there and I crushed everybody. First place, second place, first place. P-Dubs was the Mario Kart champ last night. Mario Kart World against the community. Not bad for a hashtag fake gamer. Steve Sales here. Good to play golf with you last night, buddy. Yeah, Little Alien has gotten really, really good. He's gotten really, really good. Jason Corbin, what's up, man? Working from home today? Good to hear that, buddy. Good to hear that. But yeah, Mario. So first off, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. Guys, I got your comments on the screen. We'll leave them up for now. Tell me what you guys are feeling about the Nintendo Switch 2. Did any of you buy it or not buy it? Do you think it's a waste of money? Do you think like you've wasted your money? I'm going to tell you something. I am, I would say about 80% satisfied with my Nintendo Switch 2. Like, I love it. People are complaining about the screen and handheld mode. Guys, I leave mine docked 90% of the time. So I really don't give a shit what the screen looks like in handheld mode. I really don't. People crying about the screen. And yeah, we know Nintendo's all about stealing your money, right? Or trying to get more money out of your pocket. So in the future Nintendo's going to release like an OLED Switch 2, right? With a better screen. You know that's going to happen. But despite that, like Mario Kart World, absolutely loving it. So fun to play. I'm not bored of it yet. But then again, I've put 10 hours into Mario Kart World. A lot of other people have put like 30, 40, 50 hours into Mario Kart World. I can guarantee you by the time I get up to 30 hours, I'll probably be bored of it too. But hopefully by then, we will have something a little more exciting to play. I'll tell you what, though, one thing I love is the fact that when it's docked and it does 4K this out resolution from the dock to your TV. I think it might be 30 frames per second. I have been playing the Tears of the Kingdom, the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Tears of the Kingdom. What's great is if you own the game, you can download the upgraded versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for free. So since I've owned those games for years, I downloaded both versions for free, been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and that 4K looks beautiful on my 4K television. And it's almost like a whole new game. I mean, it's just stunning how great the game looks. And since it's come out, I've put 30 hours into Tears of the Kingdom in the last like 2 weeks. So, not bad for a hashtag fake gamer. I think I saw a super chat flying in here. People spending their money, throwing it in the tip jar already. What do we got going on here? We got Stringer Films, $2. Good moaning, gaming on. Thanks so much, Stringer, for the $2 super chat. Good morning to you, sir. I've been enjoying watching your Twitter stuff. It's been cracking me up. Oh man. David H thinks it's a waste. Nothing wrong with that. Jason said his kids would rather like the PS5 or the PC. Billy Woods is waiting for the OLED. There you go. And you're playing Elden Ring, which is on the Switch now, the Switch 2. Now, here's why I'm 80% satisfied, right? It's fun, it's cool, it's exciting, the screen looks good, blah blah blah. Or I'm sorry, like when you're playing on the TV when it's docked. The camera's fun. The fact that you technically don't need to buy their overpriced cheap camera. You could buy pretty much any USB camera and it'll work. So you could buy a better quality camera for like $30 on Amazon versus the $60 they want for their camera. Like a Logitech or a Brio type like webcam. So you don't need to buy their camera. But also too, the chat feature's cool. Still needs to be flushed out. They still need to be able to like where you can add and remove people from the chat as you go instead of having to delete the entire live chat room and then create a new one. Like once you create one, like let's say I create a chat room and there's only 3 friends online and I invite those 3 friends and we're in a chat. And while we're playing, all of a sudden, let's just say 5 other people show up. I can't add them to that existing chat. You can't just add them, like invite them to your chat where you can all see each other in chat on the Switch too. And that sucks. It seems so like, why is that not part of the first rollout? Like, they need to update that to where you're like, oh, hey, a bunch of buddies just logged in. I want to add them because the only way to add them is to delete. Everyone's got to leave the chat. It's got to go away, create a whole new chat, send out all new invites, and get everybody back together again. So, the chat feature needs some fine tuning, but also the games. The games are what make consoles. And there's really, I mean, yeah, there's a whole bunch of like remakes and refreshes and things like that, right? There's all these remakes and refreshes of games like Tears of the Kingdom and others. And but where are like the really cool new games? Like the only ones I know I'm super excited for are like Metroid and like Donkey Kong, right? The new Donkey Kong, right? Those games will be bangers when they come out, brand new games. brand new games. So they got to get more games, like more. And yes, we have backlogs. I have a huge backlog, like all of you, of games I need to play. But still, like, it's a new console, and I feel like I don't have anything brand new to buy to play, like a brand new, never before seen game. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Mike of all trades, Nintendo's currently on the Xbox 360 version of Game Chat. Yeah, very limited Game Chat. And I think it's because Nintendo wants to protect the kids. Let's be honest, the bulk of their users is probably younger folks, right? Younger folks. But still, just the simple ability of, if you have an open chat, to be able to invite people to that chat without having to close it and start a whole new one would work wonders. You know what I mean? There you go. My niece wants to Switch Lite. There you go. So I want to chat about that. Like, I'm 80% satisfied with my Nintendo Switch 2. It's not perfect. And also the game cards thing, like, it's weird. Like, it's their way of saying we want to be completely what's the word? Online only, digital download only, but we know it's going to anger people. So let's do this. It's a game card that has a code on it, much like, and some games are shipping. You buy the box. So you're buying the clamshell to stick on your shelf, but inside is just a piece of paper with the code, with the digital code. Oh man. So that stuff too. You know what I mean? That stuff too. Calvin Wong thinks it's a controversy. They want you to buy the Switch 1 games. Are you kidding me, Calvin? No, you're absolutely right, buddy. You're absolutely right. Also, I wanted to talk about the Steam sale. So, how many of you guys have picked up games on Steam this week? Because Steam is rocking right now with a major sale. How many of you have picked up games, and what have you picked up? Throw it in the chat. Let's get people some ideas in case they've been considering picking up something on the Steam sale. Good morning, Ando. Good to see you, buddy. And then we have D Leon. I feel like we're all just playing the games on different platforms, but platforms are not much different than the next one. I think you got a valid point, my friend. I think you really, really do. So yesterday, I finally had a few free minutes to scroll through what's on sale on Steam. And there's some great sales, right? You guys remember how I was telling you, because I played RoboCop, I now wanted to go back and play that Terminator game made by the same people who did RoboCop, even though that game came out 2018, 2019. So it's a like 5, 6 year old game. Like on sale, it's on sale on Steam for like 3, 4, $5, something like that, compared to, remember when I told you I was looking to buy it and every platform had it for like $60? And I'm like, this game is 6 years old. Why is it $60? You know what I mean? But there are a lot of great sales. But I actually did not buy anything because everything that I've wanted to buy on Steam, I have. Guys, I have a Steam library of 190 games on Steam, which doesn't sound like a whole hell of a lot, but to me, it's a lot. So, like, all the games I've already wanted, as well as a backlog of games, I already have in my library. But I was sitting there like, what am I going to buy? Like, there's some great deals on stuff, but I ended up not picking up anything yet. I haven't picked up anything. Have you picked up anything, guys? Let me know. Somebody actually shared something cool on my Discord. Let me pull that up for you guys. All right, bear with me. One thing I do love is, in today's day and age, these studios that make these retro arcade style type games, right? So let's find it right here, and I'm gonna have to give somebody a shout out who shared this on my Discord. It's a bundle of a bunch of the games put together, but really, really cheap. All right, let's go here. Let's move this to a new window. Here we go. So let me kind of show you something here. I might have to take the chat here. Let me take the chat off the screen real quick so we can so everyone will be able to see this. Chat. Turn off overlay. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and share my screen here. So this is a bundle on Steam for sale, which I would actually recommend picking up. But what's cool is if you already own a bunch of the games, it'll kind of like recalculate the difference. And just go to Steam and look up Indie Arcade Heroes, right? So basically, it's like 42% off all these games. You could buy them and you get all the games in a bundle. And you'll notice there's a lot of great games on here, like Annalyn, Cash Cow, Donut Dodo. Galacticon. Do you guys remember when Galacticon came out? How hyped we were all for Galacticon? Guardgrave, which is like Burger Time, which I did a video on, and I really really like Guardgrave. Goliath Depot, Hoppy Hop, Murtop, Citrine Deluxe, Spy Bros, Super Spy Raccoon, Tamiko. These are all what you would call indie arcade games. But you could buy them all in a big bundle, save a lot of money, 42% off. So $38 for the whole bundle. Now, here's what's interesting. I'm not logged into my Steam account right now, which is why it's showing everything like this. Now, if I was logged into my Steam account, like I own about, I would say, how many games are there? The ones okay, let's just talk about the ones I don't own. I don't own Super Spy Raccoon, Tahiko, Spy Bros, and I don't own Goliath Depot, E-Term EX, right? So I own like Citrine, Murtop, Galacticon, Donut Dodo, Cash Cow, Annalyn, own all those games on Steam. So of course, if you already own the games, like it takes it out, recalculates the discount and everything, but still you'll be able to buy the bundle at a discount. Does that make sense? You're still going to get the discount. They're just not going to make you're not buying duplicate games, is what I'm saying. So if you have like, let's say you only own 2 of these, but you want to get the other 10, you'll get the 10 at the discount for 10. So, but this is a really, really cool bundle. These are really, really fun games. I love Annalyn. Love Donut Dodo. Cash Cow DX, Guardgrave, Murtop, Citrine. These are all great games, man. These are all great games. So, and they're real cheap too. So, I would recommend going and pick this up on Steam. Just type Indie Arcade Heroes in your search bar and it'll pop up if it doesn't pop up on the main page during the Steam sale. And I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out here to who shared this in my Discord? User Vacant Code. Big shout out to Vacant Code for sharing that in my Discord. Yep. What's up, JJ? We're just chatting about Steam really quick. Chamomile tea. How disgusting. I already have 2 Evercade units. The burger time was hard to ignore this week. Yeah, so real quick, I mean, this is about as much as I can show you without getting in. Whoa, hang on. This is about as much as I can show you without getting myself in trouble because the embargo lifts tomorrow, right? So for those of you who say P-Dubs only does this for free shit, that's not true. So for instance, I had pre-ordered this bundle, Windjammers Karnov and Gremlin Collection 2. I pre-ordered these, and these arrived last week. So if you pre-ordered, they should have started arriving last week from Evercade. Evercade did send me a copy of Windjammers Karnov. I will be doing this as a giveaway on my channel. So probably on my next live stream, we'll give this away to a viewer, right? But also, Evercade is sending out a bunch of review units to a bunch of people. So you're going to see a lot of content dropping tomorrow for the new Super Pockets. So I got the Burger Time and the Neo Geo one, as well as a whole bunch of other YouTubers. Now, I'm not allowed to show you any more than this. If I literally take it out of the box and show it to you, I'll be breaking embargo. So I don't want to get in trouble, right? Because companies take that shit seriously. But these are really, really cool for what they are. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, I just buy an Ambernick. It's got all the games on there, blah, blah, blah. But these are curated collections. They're Evercade. They're, you know, it's a different audience, right? It's a different audience. So we're going to we'll have a video out for you guys tomorrow, along with 1,000 other YouTubers showing off these handhelds. But they're really cool. They're really cool for what they are. I am not going to the Video Game Summit next week in Chicago, but I will be back in Chicago in October for Chicago Pinball Expo, as well as I'll be going back in August to go visit family. So there you go. Are there any games featuring 4 turtles that were found in the mysterious green ooze? There you go. It's always a good time for Burger Time. Yeah, Burger Time's cool. What's funny is I showed off the Burger Time one and I had people teasing me like, hey, Bad Dudes is on there. And I'm like, yeah, now I can play Bad Dudes anywhere. I could play Bad Dudes in the bathroom, at the mall, in the parking lot, and at the strip club. Like, I could play Bad Dudes anywhere. Oh, man. Bad Dudes sucks. What's in the box? I can't open it, dude. Embargo's tomorrow. I'll get in trouble. But yeah, expect a whole bunch of videos coming out tomorrow showing off those handhelds. Probably flood your YouTube feed if you follow the Evercade products. So that's what's going on there with the Evercade Steam sale. My number one recommendation would be the Indie Arcade Heroes. Support indie arcade game developers. They make great games. A lot of these games our community have fallen in love with, like Donut Dodo and Murtop and others. And I'd like to see those studios keep pumping out more games like this. So that would be my recommendation. Pick up that pack. We talked about the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, Stringer, I'll be there. It was so nice to meet Stringer in person. I got to tell you. You know, we showed up at Stern Pinball, right? And there's like me and my whole crew, right? You know, Console Kits, B Kong, Michael B. We show up at the Stern factory. And then on the other side of the parking lot, we have Stringer and like Nick Madsen and a couple other dudes, some people who I'm not fond of and they're not fond of me. Cool Toy was there, but you know, he was on our side of the fence. And it felt like that scene in Anchorman where like all the news teams are having the face off, right? And the first people to cross the divide, to cross the bridge, the 15 feet of blank pavement in front of the Stern factory to walk over, introduce themselves, and shake hands were Stringer Films and Nick Madsen. And I got to tell you, I spent a lot of time with those guys at Chicago Pinball Expo, and they were so nice and so funny. And Stringer, you talk a lot. Douglas, I'm glad you mentioned this. So there's been a lot of hot talk about, remember how Evercade said with the tariffs, they're going to ship the products, but you're going to have to go to the post office or the post office will contact you and want their 10% in order for you to get your product either delivered to you or pick it up in person at the post office. Remember, I pre-ordered this bundle out of my own money. Obviously, the review units, they sent them DHL. They just showed up at my door. I looked out my door, they were there. So nothing there. But these that I paid for out of my own pocket, all they did was put them in my mailbox. That's it. Post office never called me. I never got an email. I never got a phone call. I never had a note on my door. Nothing saying that I had to pay that extra 10%. So at least for me, my post office here in Arizona was like, take your shit. So that's how that went. Jaws 50 drops today. If you haven't played it yet, Harry Potter is the real deal. I have not played the new Harry Potter pinball, but I can tell you that new Harry Potter pinball, I hate the artwork. I mean, I can't stand the artwork on the machine, the way it looks. But then again, you can't judge a book by its cover. You got to play it, kind of like Jaws. If you guys remember, when Jaws pinball got announced by Stern, I was dogging it like on my streams. I was like, the shark looks like a Fisher Price toy. This looks like a waste of money. Stern cheaped out. But then I actually played Jaws, and I love Jaws. I think Jaws pinball is a fantastic game that Stern made, and I think that's an Elwyn game, right? And it's a super fun game to play, and it's exciting and all that stuff. So I love Jaws pinball. One day I hope to own one, but I'm not in a rush to get one. I'll buy one used down the road. It's a really, really cool. Yeah, Nick Madsen and Stringer are fantastic guys. Moat says we got heat. You didn't let me crash on the couch a couple weeks ago. What happened there? You didn't open the doors for Moat? Meatball, have a great day. Thanks for joining us for the early morning discussion. Yep, RoboCop Rogue City is $4.99 on Steam. I played through that, if you guys remember, and I loved it. I loved RoboCop Rogue City, one of my favorite games. That game also came out, in 2023? And I didn't play it until this year, and I loved it. Played it, beat it, thought it was fantastic. Did a couple YouTube shorts on it, stuff like that. James is trying to drop some knowledge in the chat. He says the post office delivering stuff because they don't know how to handle the extra charge. Could be. Could be. Doors always open for Moat. See, now that he put pressure on you publicly, Stringer has to say that, right? What else is going on? Oh, arcades and gaming. So it's been interesting. It seems like, Mike did a live stream. I think he called it like the calm before the storm, which is a title that we've used a lot over the years. It's like this is the quiet period before the release of a lot of products, like before stuff actually comes out. It really sucks that during spring and summer, we haven't seen a lot of really cool arcade releases, right? Home arcade releases or stuff like that. But if you think about it, this fall, if things actually happen on time, plus with tariff negotiations kind of getting settled and companies knowing what they can and can't do, we're expecting to see a lot of products coming over. And it is the calm before the storm. I think this fall, and especially this holiday season, I think we're going to have a lot of new toys to play with, as well as talk about on the internet. And not just people who like the hobby, but people who hate the hobby, who their content hinges on the fact that there's some sort of news to hate on. They will also have plenty of content to make, and they have every right to make that kind of content. They will also have that opportunity as well, right? So, uh, this is the calm before the storm. I'm looking forward to seeing some of this stuff come over, as well as full reveals of things, because I'm not super hyped about iconic arcade or basic fun until we actually see these real working machines in person. You know what I mean? That kinds of stuff. What's up, JR? Welcome to the show. I mean, I don't know how excited you can get about that stuff when, we've never seen a demo. We've never seen a true, like, we've seen a couple pictures of basic fun stuff, but we haven't seen anything actually running, operating, stuff like that. I know a lot of people have been reaching out to them to try and get like information, and they haven't responded to anybody. And if you think about it, part of me thinks that's a good thing. Part of me does. Because what happens every single time someone from one of these companies comes on a stream, does an interview, once they show their mug around here, then it's like they have a bullseye on them from this community, right? And then it's just never-ending waves of shit and attacks and scandals and hype and conspiracy, and maybe they're doing the right thing by staying away from the YouTube piece of it. You know what I mean? They're going to talk about our products anyway. You know what I mean? Let's just, release information when we release it. But I hear that, they haven't been calling or emailing or DMing anybody back, and a lot of people have reached out, as you would expect them to. You know why? Because it's content. It's content. I mean, hell, I sent Basic Fun an email a year ago and they never responded. Right? They never responded. Am I butthurt about it? No. I just think that maybe they're doing the right thing by ignoring everybody. Billy Woods, you're too toxic. Morning, Dale. Good to see you. Any word on the FU? Here's the word on the FU. Glenn is in a fantastic mood, as he should be, John, as he should be. Obviously, the Kickstarter's still going. There's not going to be any news until probably another month or so down the road, like when the Kickstarter closes, and then Glenn actually and his team start manufacturing products and stuff. I will say this though. I love Glenn. I love Glenn's retro show. I love his products, but he has a very aggressive Kickstarter timeline. If you look at his timeline of delivery on his Kickstarter, it's very aggressive. Part of me thinks that, and this is just me, so relax. This is just opinion. This is no fact. Part of me thinks that the timeline's so aggressive, there's a good chance that the products won't be delivered. They'll be delivered, but maybe delayed, right? That's just my opinion, because looking at his timeline of how quickly he expects to get things released. Now, that's just my opinion. Minus that one little concern that there might be a delay, everyone's excited about it. Everyone's excited about it. And so am I, man. Like, good for Glenn, right? Like, I wish I could start an arcade company and do all that stuff. But I can't, Plus, I have a really good job and career as it is. Nix is here, probably one of the greatest pinball players I've ever seen in my life when it comes to virtual and VR pinball. Make sure you guys check out Nick's reviews on YouTube. He'll teach you how to play pinball and get those high scores. I would agree, but Numbskull came in his show and he didn't receive backlash. He was a good dude. Yeah, but Jim, he didn't get backlash. We got backlash. There were a whole bunch of jealous content creators who are all friends with each other who started all kinds of shit and conspiracy theories. Oh, they only invited them on their show to get free stuff. Oh, they're shills, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not about us providing a service to our audience and having you introduce you and meet people from these companies who were blessed and lucky that they actually give people in our community the time of their day. It's not that. It's everything's a conspiracy. Everything's to get free shit. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, but also he presented himself well, Jim. He didn't say or do anything stupid. Keep in mind some of the people from companies who have come on shows have embarrassed themselves. All right. They've embarrassed themselves. And because they've embarrassed themselves, there's really not much the YouTube host can do about that, right? Because let's be honest, we're not politicians. This isn't politics. This is video games. And people who work at these companies aren't politicians. They're video game developers, business people. They a lot of them don't know how to speak to the public, right? What's your opinion of GI Joel and his cabs? What I like about GI Joel's cabs is the fact that there's still a big fracture in the audience. There's people who don't want large arcade machines. Whether you shit on it or not, whether you think they're stupid and small and tiny and cheaply built, there is still a market and a fan base. They want the 3/4 scale. They love the size. They love to be able to fit 20, 25 in a room. They love to be able to move them around their homes easily. They love to be able to flip them on Facebook if they want to get rid of them. Come and go as you will, right? In and out. And GI Joe, a lot of companies are making multicades. They're doing bigger is better, which there's an audience for that. But keep in mind, there's also that audience that wants that size machine, and that's what Joel is making. And we interviewed him Monday, Multicade Mondays. Make sure you guys go back and watch that interview and check out the machines that Joel's making. Because if that's the size you like, then maybe that's a product for you, right? Maybe that's a product for you. So I love the fact that what we have in 2025 is options, right? Think about it. By this fall, winter, you're going to have basic fun. You're still going to have arcade one-ups for sale. You're going to have Iconic Arcade. You're going to have At Games. You're also going to have people like Retro Lizard, G.I. Joel, Glenn's Retro Show, Tulsa Arcades, Rec Room Masters, Game Room Solutions. Um, all these companies that also make more custom DIY kits, right? So there's options, right? I mean, think about it. That's what we've been missing, options. So yeah, that's going to be really cool in my opinion. So Scott, the only news we heard is last month when New Wave Toys did their live stream. But I will say this, I was very happy to see that New Wave Toys said they're going to start doing that show again monthly. So every month they're going to update us. But yeah, just like we expected, they're going to get Golden Tea out first, then they're going to get Crystal Castles. So we should hopefully get them by the end of this year. And there you go. Oh yeah, there's so many jealous people, and we're all guilty of it. There have been times where I've been like, wow, that guy got that opportunity from that company. I wish that was me. I mean, we've all had that jealous thing happen. I mean, we're human, guys. We're human. We're not perfect. Although we tease and a bunch of trolls started calling me the mayor of home arcades and that's because I have the largest homegrown home arcade following. Um, Whatchamacallit. So they're calling me the mayor. He thinks he's the mayor. He thinks he runs the place, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of other channels, they have more followers than me. A lot of them were doing other stuff before they pivoted their content, right? So I have like the largest natural because this channel started home arcade and has always been home arcade. Minus occasionally I'll throw something in there like a Nintendo Switch docking station or some other content like that, right? So, but yeah, there's I forgot I was going to. So, although they called me the mayor, a bunch of trolls gave that name to me. It doesn't mean I have to behave and act like a mayor. Does that make sense? Like, this is not politics, and I don't have any time for any kind of crazy stuff like that. You know what I mean? If I'm ever gonna spend time on YouTube, I wanted to stick it to the gaming and talking about products and companies, and not all that other stuff happening in the world. You know what I mean? Options are great. I love it. Thanks so much. Am I still the mayor? Am I still the mayor in your heart of hearts, even though I've been mostly gone for the last 2 months? Or have I lost my reelection bid? Let me know, guys. If I'm the mayor, give me a 1 in the chat. I don't think so. Yeah. Back in 2019, bro, Nick's great point. These things were like $300. Now, even the 3/4 scale machines are what, $500-600? And even Basic Fun's going to have that price tag on their machines. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. There's only one perfect YouTuber in the community who should not be named. I don't know who that is, man. Now I'm kind of curious who that is. Mo, I try to cheer everyone on. A rising tide raises all ships, even if they like or dislike me. Positivity will win out in the end. That's the other thing too. When people get jealous of other people's success, Mo hit it a nail on the head. A rising tide raises all ships. If someone, like for instance, let's put it this way, right? Back when larger content creators with much bigger followings would make videos about home arcades like Mad Little Pixel, RGT85. These channels have much larger followings. So when they put a video about a home arcade product like an Arcade 1 Up or something into YouTube, into the algorithm, guess what happens? When people watch and look at that content, because it does so well on the large channels, the YouTube then pushes out every video about that machine or that topic, and it pushes us out further to new audiences, which means your videos that you made that you're like, oh my god, I only got 500 views. Well, guess what? It's now being pushed and exposed to further audiences. More people are going to click on it. More people are going to potentially find you. More people are going to potentially subscribe to you. And that's because the rising tide of the larger channels are raising all ships, right? And anytime a content creator in our space does well, it helps everybody else. Does that make sense? It helps everybody else. So you have to remember that. You have to remember that. As much as we all get jealous and pissy and hate each other and all that stuff, all the negativity does get old. I genuinely feel that only 1% of the total home arcade audience. So if ballpark home arcade audience is around 30,000 people who consistently watch YouTube channels talking about it, 1% is what? A couple hundred? I think a couple hundred people care about the drama, care about the Jerry Springer shit. And I think everyone else just cares about talking about the games, the gaming, and the companies, right? Does that make sense? There you go. Thanks so much. We need to create the one big beautiful arcade game build. There you go, Pop Arcade. I greatly appreciate it. Well, guys, our time is about up. It's 8 a.m. on the West Coast, and I have a real job I need to get to. So thanks for joining me for the early morning arcade and gaming chat. Let me know. Should we do this more often? And if we should do this more often, let me know in the comments after this video is over. And also let me know a fun name for the early morning chat. Let me know what it would be, guys. And I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, our time is up. Hopefully I entertained you on your commute to work. Do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. Thank you for subscribing. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, P-Dubs is back. I'll be talking to you guys real soon.